Hello, this is Buck WSR Weezer welcoming you back once again to another exciting edition of How Many Washer Components Can I Change Out Until I Actually Find Out What's Wrong with this thing. Yes, it's up to two strikes, folks. Here's a Whirlpool Cabrio washing machine. It's not working. And I am about to replace the third component in search of a cure. Now, I have to confess, I don't know much about these things, so that's sort of one of the reasons why I've made a couple of errors. It's getting a variety of codes and error signals, one of which was the lid lock. So I have replaced the lid lock mechanism that winds its way underneath there and back to the control board. That didn't solve it. Though that wasn't a complete shot in the dark because the lid lock button was blinking. I was getting that trouble signal. And because those lid lock switches tend to go bad sort of regularly. Then as I tried to analyze the trouble codes that it was giving and put it through some of the manual tests, I noticed it was passing all the tests, but not the times when you would need to agitate or spin, which led me to think, well, it's possibly the shifter or the actuator, that mechanism that is so important as part of the switching back and forth between spinning and agitating. Well, I replaced that, strike two, so I hadn't made any progress. And suddenly, I hit upon something that I think is going to absolutely, positively have to be the cure. It's right here. It's the starter motor capacitor. I am so confident that this is it. I don't know why this didn't occur to me earlier, but just take a look at that. Can you see this? This little cylinder. Look at that big wad of gray stuff that has leaked out of the side of it and turned into a rock-like hardness. Hear that? Also, when you turn it over this way, there's a bulge on this side. Not sure you'll be able to see it. And there was some of this gray material sprayed out at the bottom of the washing machine underneath. Well, when you see a capacitor that's leaking or bulging, you can be pretty sure that's the problem. So, here's the new guy. Dun, da, da, da. And there's no bulges. No leaking, and I'm thinking this is what's needed to get that motor going so that the machine will pass the agitation test and the spin test, and we'll be back in business on this Whirlpool Cabrio. Well, as you know, as you can see, I've already pulled the old one off. It was a matter of removing this cover underneath, and I should mention, be sure that you turn the water off, unplug your machine. This plastic cover is held on with two screws, such as these. A 5/16 nut driver will take them off. Then you'll have access to the motor capacitor, this baby right here, which also is held in with one bolt, a 5/16 screw there. You pull off the wiring harness, and there you go. So I am now ready to install this new baby. I'm going to tilt the machine back. I've unplugged it, turn the water off. I don't think I need to completely lay it on its back. I'm just going to tilt it back, maybe get it about a 45-degree angle. That's all I did to take off the old one. And I'm going to put that back on, and then I'm going to come back and you can join me for the test to see if we've really solved this thing once and for all. Alright, we're in automatic test mode. Testing the hot water valve right now. It's going to make its way down through the automatic test mode through these various tests. And we're going to need to get down the motor agitates, shifter moves. That's where the rubber meets the road with this baby. So right now we got the hot water valve actuating. I can hear the water running. These lights down here, whichever ones are lit, are telling us which test. Next test is not really a test, reserved for future development. So I hope. Alright, next test, reserved for future development. This looks like the drain pump test. I think we passed the previous motor agitates test. It may have happened before I realized that we're now on the drain pump will actuate test. I can hear the drain pump working. That's all good. After that, the shifter should move into the spin position. That's this. Seems to be a bit of a pause here. Yes. Now motor spins. This is the motor spin test right here. I'm hearing it. Hadn't made it this far before. This next test is the lid remains locked until washer senses a stop the basket. You can hear it slowing down. And all that remains is lid will unlock and cycle completes. Keep your fingers crossed, people. Now the time for the basket to stop spinning. There we go. That's the happy music. You hear that? That means our test has been complete. Everything should be good to go. Looks like we fixed this puppy. Now the real test is adding some dirty laundry and getting some real work done. It feels so good. That motor capacitor, if you got one leaking or bulging, that's going to be your problem. And it feels good to have accomplished this repair job. Maybe that'll help you with your repair job. There's so many of these washers out there with the same kind of setup, even if they're made by different brands. Whirlpool is the one that I have. Alright, thanks for hanging with me. It was a rip-roaring success. Bye.